here. So execution. So this is going to be actually looking for job postings and connecting and networking with people. So what I want to talk first about is something called the open job market. And you may have heard of the open job market before. It's very simply just publicly advertised positions. So when you think about those big job boards, such as Indeed or any sort of Handshake is also an open market job board. It's just basically positions that are posted to the public at large. Now, open job market postings are great. They are low-hanging fruit because they're easy to find and typically easy to apply for. The problem, though, is that they are open to everyone. And so you may find yourself in a very large applicant pool. So you need to find ways to really make yourself stand out in the open job market. Nonetheless, you should definitely use the open job market to look for positions, but it should be used in conjunction with the hidden job market, which we'll get to in just a second. But let me show you an example. In this example, I'm using Indeed.com. Huge job board, great job board for you to check out and to use, absolutely. So if I'm using Indeed, what I'm doing here on this open job market is I maybe have a job title in mind. So let's say my job title is program officer. And maybe I also have a geographical location in mind. I know that, I'm here in Austin, my family's here, and this is where I want to be. And that's what you can search by is a direct job title and geographical location. And then, of course, things are going to start to pop up for you that meet those parameters. But searching by job title is often difficult, and that is because sometimes you may not know what exactly job title you're looking for, and also one job title for one company might be something different for another company. So another approach is a skills-based search. You all at the PhD level have incredible skill sets. And so what you could do, and this is the next example I wanted to show you, this is an open job board. This is Handshake. You all have access to Handshake, Hire You Texas. What I've done here is I am searching by a skill. So project management, perhaps you have great project management skills and you're well practiced in that, and that's how you want to search for a position. And let's say you're interested in Texas, not necessarily Austin, but just want to stay in the state. You can search that way, and then of course positions are going to pop up that meet that that skill set that you are interested in. So what I want to provide for you here are just a bunch of open job market sources. This is by no means the end-all be-all. There are a ton of open job market job boards out there. But let's say you're interested in biotech or pharma or technology, maybe startups or venture capitalist firms. The other thing I want to point out here are professional associations. So like for example, I am a part of the National Association for Colleges and Employers. That's my line of work. That's my professional association. If I were ever to be looking for a job, I could go to my professional association, and typically professional associations have open job boards there, which would be an excellent place for you to also identify jobs that might be within your field or sector that you're interested in. Also, I want to touch on government positions. So what I want to point out here is that government positions are found exclusively on government websites. So USA Jobs, Texas.gov, Travis County Jobs, you're going to want to go here to take a look. If you think you might be interested in government positions, these are the best job boards for you to go to find those open positions. And the other reason I want to direct you to these job boards is there are some different ways to apply for government positions or different parameters to applying. And so the application process typically is a little bit more intense. It's a little bit longer. I say a little bit, it's a lot longer. Also, the template, so when you are creating a resume and application materials for government work, it's a little bit different than a for-profit position. So all of these websites have great templates for you to take a look at how would I submit a government resume, what would that look like, and how would that differ from another resume that I might have. So really great to check out these job boards specific for government. Maybe you're interested in nonprofit, perhaps you're interested in national labs, which are also the government level, social enterprise, or again, these professional organizations within the nonprofit space. So these are all linked here for you. Again, not the end-all be-all, but hopefully will just help you be able to find some other job boards for you to hop on and take a look at. Another really great place to identify some job boards is back here on Imagine PhD. So before we were checking out the assessments section, and so now what I want to show you is the resource section. So if you click on resources, you'll be able to go to job family resources. And for the sake of the example that I've been using today, I've been kind of doing like nonprofit advocacy type examples. So let's just say I select advocacy from the job family list. And then from there, I can explore. So I can look at all the different job titles or range of careers that I could possibly maybe obtain through advocacy as a job family. I can also connect, so I can get resources, I can connect with organizations. So again, we just talked about professional associations and how important those can be for your job search. So here you can find some of those, in this case in advocacy. Build skills, so figuring out, what skill sets do I need to really excel in this field? And again, when we talked about skills gap earlier in this workshop, are there skills that I need to build out if I'm very interested to go into advocacy work? And then applying. So really what I wanted to point out here are job boards, job postings, so some of more of those open job market sources within advocacy you can find in this apply section of the job families. So again, Imagine PhD, a really great tool for you all. I hope you will log in and check it out. There's even a planning feature as well, so you can jot down things along the way, and that can be a part of your planning tools as well. Let's talk about what the hidden job market is. So what we were just talking about are positions that are not publicly advertised or posted online. So when we looked at the open job market, those are easy to apply for, right? They're posted online. And most of us don't like networking so much, so we really tend to go to those online job postings. And that might work out just fine for you, right? But a majority of positions may never even be posted online. And if they are posted online, remember we talked about how many people might be applying for one position. There could be hundreds of people. And how do you stand out from the crowd if you're applying? And the answer is, through the networking experience. So why would a company or organization maybe not post a position online? And there's a couple of reasons. One is that the position might be so highly specialized that they don't want to post it online because they're looking for someone in particular. This is where at the PhD level, this is why it's even more important for you to be networking. All of you all have highly specialized skill sets that you just need to be talking to people to be able to make that connection. What you are looking for may not be posted online, right? And what a company might be looking for in a candidate, they may not find through a candidate that applies online. So you need to figure out how to make that connection. Also, cost. It costs companies money to post positions online. It's not free for them to do. So if they are a smaller company or perhaps don't have an HR department or recruiting team, it wouldn't make sense for them to post a job online because they don't have the resources or manpower to be able to go through all of the candidates that have applied, right? They have to screen through all the applicants. They have to do phone screens. Then they have to set up interviews. It takes a lot of manpower to do that. And then the economy, right? Like a lot of companies are not posting things right now, but again, it doesn't mean that they're not hiring or they're not thinking about hiring in the future when we hopefully move past this scary time that we're in. So what is the solution? It's to network, right? And the word network, I think, kind of gets misconstrued sometimes. Just have conversations with people is all we're saying, right? Informational interviewing is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend as part of your job search process. And really, this is just also known as having conversations with professionals. For some reason, I think that informational interviewing sounds a little uppity, right? Like you're just having conversations with people, of course, in a professional way, like you're conducting yourself professionally, because you never know who could hire you or connect you with someone who could hire you. But essentially, you're just having conversations with people and gathering information. So what is informational interviewing? It's a meeting to learn about the real life experience of someone working in a field or company that interests you. That's all it is, right? And so that can lead to many, many different things. And so what is the benefit? Why should you be doing this? And why am I harping on this in a job search workshop? Well, there are so many things that an informational interview or conversation with a professional can lead you to. A job, right? Like that's what we would really like, is for your networking connection to lead you to a job. That would be great. It can happen, and it does. But also it can help you learn about an industry or company. Let's say you're in the first phase of your job search process. Let's say you're still trying to figure out what industry or companies that you're trying to target. Having informational interviews can help you solidify that. You might be thinking, oh, well, I'm really interested in, this particular foundation. I think I really want to work there. And let's say you have 2 conversations with folks that work at that company, and you realize it's not in alignment with your values. And if you hadn't talked to those people, you wouldn't have known that maybe that industry's, that company culture doesn't fit for you. And it confirms interest, or maybe it makes you really excited. You talk to someone about a particular company where they're working, or a particular project that they're working on, or a particular industry that they're in, and it really confirms that you are interested in this particular thing. It helps you understand hiring practices, right? So knowing that, how do I stand out at this particular organization or company? You could get an inside scoop just by talking to someone, right? And then you could get a referral system. So you could say, this is how you really stand out in applying for our company. So do this on your application. Also, I'm going to let that hiring manager know that we talked. And knowing that many companies have referral systems in place for their current employees. So sometimes current employees can get a kickback or a benefit from referring you to a position. And why would they do that? Because companies who have really great employees want the employees to find people that they know to also be hired, because they are likely going to be very good employees as well. So the referral system really works in that manner. And then gaining a mentor, right? Someone that you connect with in an informational interview or a conversation, whatever you'd like to call it. If you have a good conversation with that person, you're going to want to follow up with them, and maybe organically that becomes a mentor for you and really helps you navigate the industry that you want to go into, and kind of gives you some inside scoop into how to really excel in a company or industry. Building your professional brand, really, really important. There are really basically no positions out there where you're going to be exclusively working by yourself, right? You are probably going to be working on some sort of team, and in some cases it can be very large teams, and so you need to figure out how to really interact with people. So this is going to help you practice doing that, to help you practice interacting, talking to people, and then it also can help you practice for interviewing as well. So one of the best ways, especially right now in the virtual world that we are in, to connect with people is LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn every day, and I really advocate for all of you who don't have a LinkedIn profile is to consider creating a LinkedIn profile. If you do have a LinkedIn profile, ask yourself, how often do you actually use LinkedIn? Did you just make a profile and then you maybe check in on it like once a month? Maybe get more active. Make that part of your job search routine. Can you put that into your time allocation? And so what you want to ask yourself is, how often am I getting on LinkedIn and making connections with people, and can I time block that so I'm making sure that I'm doing that? You can always come in and see one of us career advisors and make a career advising appointment if you'd like for us to look at your LinkedIn profile or have questions on how to utilize LinkedIn. But what I want to show you is an example here. So here I'm on the home page of my LinkedIn mini feed or homepage, and then from there is a search bar. And what you can do is you can search by people, you can search by jobs, you can search by companies, right? Like what we're trying to do is identify people. And so you can do that in a number of different ways. But one way I really want to show you is that you can search by institution. So if I am searching by, I need my laser pointer. If I'm searching by UT Austin, UT Austin has their own LinkedIn page just like any other person does. Only in this case, UT Austin has an alumni button. And here is where you can kind of find people, alumni, so you have a warm connection when you're trying to outreach and request an informational interview or trying to have a conversation with someone. And so what you can see from this alumni feature is that here what I did is I put in, there's a search field here, so you can search alumni. And I put in Austin, Texas, and then remember my example before, program officer, I plugged that in, and there's about 3,500 people with these two search fields put on. So what I can do if I need to narrow that down a little bit more, that's a lot of people to go through, I can also search by like the company, like what company they work at, what program they studied. I can also do it by what they're skilled in. So there's a lot of different fields that you could put in here. But let's say I put in these two, and then I can come in and I see all of these program officers who are UT alum, right, and that live in Austin. And so, wow, what a resource here of all these people I could potentially connect with, and knowing that we have a warm connection. And how you demonstrate that warm connection is when you ask to make a connection on LinkedIn, you're going to want to add a message. So LinkedIn allows you 300 characters to initially connect with someone on LinkedIn. And here is where you're not asking for a job. You're not even at this point asking for an informational interview. You're merely saying that you want to connect with this person. You only have 300 characters anyway, so make it about them, not about you, right? So, dear Dr. So-and-so, I'm a fellow Longhorn. That's your first warm connection. I just completed my PhD in sociology. Also in sociology, so maybe there's another warm connection. So even if you were connecting with someone on LinkedIn who's not a UT alum, maybe there's another warm connection. Maybe you studied, the same thing, or maybe there is a organization that you both volunteered for, right? Like, what is it maybe that you could show some sort of connection? You don't have to do that every time. It just sometimes is nice to really show that warm connection in some way. And from your profile, I can see that you have had many interesting experiences, right? We're making it about them. I would love to connect and learn more about your career path, essentially. You tailor this however you want to whenever you're making your own connections, but I just kind of want to make it known here that you're not asking for anything right at this point. Once Dr. Sample or whoever responds back to this invitation request, then you can actually go in and request an informational interview or request a conversation. And so this can be done in a number of ways depending on how you are trying to connect with someone. In this case, we were using LinkedIn, so you could use LinkedIn messaging once you two are connected, you're not bound by characters, right? So you can send a more robust message to that person. And when you are requesting a conversation or an informational interview, remember, it's not a job request. This person that you're connecting with may not be a hiring manager, right? And you could scare someone away by saying initially, I want to talk to you because I'm looking for a job, right? Like if someone approached me with that, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not a hiring manager for this position, so I don't think that I can help you, right? So you don't want someone to get scared away by you asking for a job request. Are you essentially looking for a job? Yes. They probably know that too. But that is not what you're trying to gain here, right? You're trying to learn from them, learning about what they currently do in their role, learning about their organization, learning about their own career trajectory. And from there, when you get someone talking about themselves, it feels cathartic to them. It feels more like a two-way street. And that's how you really build rapport with someone. So once you build rapport with someone, then they might feel inclined to say, well, what is it that you are looking for, right? And from there, you can start asking questions about, do you know if your company is going to be hiring soon? What is the best way to stand out if I apply? If I apply for such and such role, can I alert you? Is there someone else in your organization I should connect with, right? These types of things. But you have to establish that connection first. And when you are creating or requesting an informational interview, it's really important to be specific and action-oriented. And I'm going to show you an example of that. So in this sample request, the subject line is UT PhD, interested in learning more about your work at whatever organization. The first paragraph is a little bit about why you're trying to connect with this person, right? Like what is it about, something on their LinkedIn profile, or maybe an advisor or a faculty member is referring you to a person, like why are you trying to connect with them? And then you also want to talk about who you are, right? And tell them a little bit about yourself. And then here's the action, the call to action. What do you want from this person, right? Like we're all really, really busy. And I think you all would also just really appreciate like just kind of getting to the point, right? What are you asking? So would it be possible for us to meet or talk by phone? So let's scratch meet for right now. Talk by phone or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever platform, perhaps for a half hour. This time allotment is so, so important. If you leave it open-ended, that's another reason that somebody may kind of shut down the invitation to connect because they don't know how long it's going to take. But if you say 20 to 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, most of the time people can fit 25 to 30 minutes into their schedule, no problem. And the fact that you have said that tells them that A, you respect their time, and B, that you're going to stick to that time allotment. And then you're letting them know maybe what particular days you're available. If you're free and you can make any time work, make that known as well. Try to be as accommodating as possible. So that's just an example. So you want to tailor it for your means, but here's just some wording that you could use and some ideas on how to make that request for an informational interview or conversation. When you conduct informational interviews, it's really important to be very professional, right? You want to prepare questions in advance. So remember your self-assessments, right? What questions do you want to ask them? What is it that you want to know? And making sure that you're keeping in mind what are my values? What am I trying to identify about this organization or industry that I'm maybe potentially interested in going into? Also be mindful of time, right? If you've said 30 minutes, at the 30-minute mark or maybe even 25-minute mark when you're talking to that person, you want to say, I realize we have about 5 minutes left. Now they may say, oh, it's okay, right? Like they're having a good conversation, it's going well. Okay, then you can go over. But at least you have indicated that you respect their time and that you're being mindful of it. And then let them do most of the talking, right? You're learning from them. Again, you want it to be a two-way street. What is it that they're getting out of this experience, right? They are able to share things about themselves. That experience builds rapport and eventually can help you build a type of relationship with this person where they would feel comfortable to refer you to a position or to refer you to another one of their contacts or colleagues. You always want to follow up after an informational interview. You'll want to do that right away. And so you want to document it on your spreadsheet or your tool, whatever you're using to plan and get organized. And you want to do an immediate thank you and then a thank you later. So if we go back to our spreadsheet, you can see here that you've documented the person and you have an initial follow-up. So you immediately after the informational interview send a thank you, and then you set a reminder for yourself to reach back out to them, let's say in August. Maybe they said, well, my company is in a hiring freeze right now, but I really encourage you to reach back out to me in August, and I can tell you where we are and which positions we're about to hire for. You don't want to forget that. Put that down on your worksheet, your spreadsheet, or whatever tool you're using to make sure you're setting a reminder for yourself. So let's pause for another action step here. What I want to know is who could you start networking with now? Who is in your sphere right now that you could network with? And what I want you to keep in mind here is that it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who is in the industry that you are seeking or think that you might be seeking. You never know who may know someone who may know someone. So what we can start with now is just take, again, 1 to 2 minutes to start jotting down either on your pen or paper or whatever you're taking notes with today, to start jotting down some people you can start networking with as you embark on your job search. So go ahead. I hope you continue to add to this list. I think a lot of us underestimate how many people we could reach out to. Again, it doesn't have to be someone who's specific in the industry that you're looking for, right? It can be anybody who's in your sphere that you could connect with. Simply getting on someone's radar and letting them know that you are job searching is really important. So let's say you reach out to a friend or a family member and say, hey, I'm looking to get into the nonprofit space. I'm looking to connect with people who work for a particular nonprofit. Let me know if you know of anybody or if you hear of anything. Right then and there, they may not. But then all of a sudden you are on their radar, right? They're going to keep their eyes and ears open for you. And when they do come across something, they'll know to go back and to tell you, hey, I just met so-and-so. I think that you two should connect, right? And they would have never known that before. So definitely, I hope that you are going to continue to jot down all of your networking connections and start connecting with them.